So I'm not going to do fan art for this one because it feels super inappropriate given what we are covering this time. I know I don't have the best barometer for that all the time, but we're going to go ahead and run with it. So apparently a thing has happened in Iran recently that not super great and is very hard to talk about. But we're going to go ahead and just put the article up here. And you can read it for yourself if you need to. We're going to go over it on our own as well. The title of the article is Two Iranians Sentenced to Death, Including LGBTQ Activist. Two Iranians were sentenced to death by a court for corruption on Earth, said Iran's news agency IRNA on Monday. One of them, Zara Segdi Hamadani, was described by Amnesty International earlier this year as a gender nonconforming person and LGBT activist who was detained by authorities due to her real or perceived sexual orientation and gender identity, as well as her social media posts and statements in defense of LGBTQ rights. In Iran, this can get you put to death, apparently. Elhem Shobdar was also charged and convicted as part of the same case and sentenced to death, Iranian state media reported. Those two were accused of trafficking young women in Iran's West Azerbaijan province and unnamed other parts of the country, according to reports from the IRNA. I wonder what they mean by trafficking young women here, specifically. Amnesty said Tuesday it was outraged by the sentence and called on Iran's authorities to immediately quash the convictions and death sentences and release, God, I cannot pronounce names. I am sorry. Sadeghi. And release Sadeghi and Shabdar. The statement said the sentences are being appealed in Iran's Supreme Court. Amnesty said in January that Segedi, who also uses the name Sarah, was first detained on October 2021 in Erbil, Iraq, in connection to an appearance she made on a BBC documentary speaking about abuses of the LGBT community in the region. After her release in Iraq, they attempted to cross into Turkey from Iran to seek asylum, Amnesty said, but in November, the intelligence organization of the Revolutionary Guards said that a leader of a human trafficking network involved in smuggling Iranian girls and women to neighboring countries and directing them to homosexual groups under protection of foreign intelligence agencies had been caught. Oh, that's what they mean. They're doing a fucking underground railroad. They're getting oppressed people out of one country and into one where they will be less oppressed. That's an underground railroad. That's what that is. That's not human trafficking. Jesus fucking Christ. Human trafficking is a predatory behavior in which one is being sent out to someone for buying or enslavement or something like that. This is not that. This is an underground railroad. Amnesty said it was outraged. We already read that. Amnesty believes the statement by the Revolutionary Guards referred to Sadeghi and called the allegations spurious and baseless. Before allegedly attempting to cross into Turkey, Sadeghi said she was journeying towards freedom in a video released by the Iranian Lesbian and Transgender Network, also known as Six Rang, in December of 2021, and it was referenced by Amnesty the following month. If I make it, I'll continue to look after LGBT people, and I will be standing behind them and raising my voice. If I don't make it, I will have given my life for this cause. Hey, by the way, I just want to point out that there's a lot of red politicians here in the States right now that specifically want to see a world like this in America. Just throwing that out there. In a letter sent to the Chief Justice of Iran, Gholam Hussein of Maznai, I'm not good at these names, I'm sorry. Amnesty said Siddiqui was accused in January by the prosecutor in Jeremiah of spreading corruption on Earth, including through promoting homosexuality, communicating with anti-Islamic Republic media channels, and promoting Christianity. When your religion is so fragile that the promotion of another one cannot be allowed within your state's borders, it's the limpest of dick energies you can possibly have. It's pretty whack how many Republicans agree with Iran on human rights. Yep. Iranian state media said that Siddiqui and Shabdar's sentences were related to trafficking without referring to the charges of her activism or further details. Contrary to reports published on social media, the area of charges against these individuals is related to the trafficking of women and young girls with the hope of education and promise of employment to a regional country. And they were also abused, and that led to the suicide of a number of these girls, IRNA said, without providing details. CNN has reached out to the Iranian government about the allegation that Siddiqui's sexual minority status was the reason for her conviction. It was not immediately clear whether Siddiqui and Shabdar had attorneys. So here's what we're going to do, because this is an article from a handful of days ago. So we are going to go ahead and take a look and see if we can't find any more information on this situation. Let's see what we can find. So, straight from Amnesty, but this is an older article. An Iranian gender nonconforming human rights defender, Siddiqui, known as Sarah, has been arbitrarily detained in Jeremiah, West Azerbaijan, since 27th of October 2021 due to her real or perceived sexual orientation and gender identity, as well as her social media posts and statements in defense of LGBT rights. Authorities have ill-treated her and threatened to convict her of spreading corruption on Earth, which carries the death penalty. So I'm curious here. Let's take a look. Spreading corruption on Earth, Iran. What does this mean? Spreading widespread moral corruption and offenses. Corruptors on Earth. They said, Ozol, Karain, Gog and Magog are corruptors on Earth. Can we pay you to create a barrier between us and them? Oh, it's just from the Quran. It's from the... Okay, so this should be evidence alone that you should never make any state legislation of any kind based off of a holy book. Be Christian, be Muslim, be religious. I don't give a shit. But the minute you start introducing public policy that is based off of those religious compulsions, no, fuck off. Leave. Just leave. Just go. It's been translated in English language sources as spreading corruption on Earth, spreading corruption that threatens social and political well-being, corruption on Earth, one who is charged with spreading corruption, gross offenders of the moral order, and enemies of God on Earth. Can I just say, all right, we're gonna dip into the old edgy atheist shit for a minute here. We're gonna dip into that for a second. If your God has a problem with LGBTQ people, he can come the fuck here and talk about it himself. If he can't do that, or won't do that, then you can fuck off. Sorry, no. I'm perfectly fine wearing that old-ass, cringy-ass fedora, because in a situation like this, human life literally lies in the balance of that decision. No amount of anything political should be motivated religiously. And if you find that religious motivation is there for something political, that should be lambasted as opposed to celebrated. When a politician is cutting wood constantly and going, I'm just a God-fearing American. I don't hear, oh, you're a great person. I hear, I don't know if I can trust a thing you say, because you think you're motivated by a higher power, and if you start trying to write legislation based on that, you're going to believe that that higher power gave you the authority to do that, and that's less than ideal. Said if he can't smite them himself, then I guess they don't want them dead that badly. Yep. If God cannot smite them himself, then he must not care that much. Fuck off. But that's a really screwed up situation. And we don't have a whole lot more information on it outside of from the last couple days. Hopefully, by the time Monday hits around, the news cycle will have given us some more updates on this situation. But it's fucked up. And I guess I really can't say much, but let me know what you think in the comment section below. It's not a great situation. There's not a whole lot we can do here. All I can do is say, do our best and not let America do the exact same shit like we used to, please. As always, insert end of video tagline here.